Now, this is an article from Popular Science back in 1891 about the lost volcanoes of Connecticut, and it's very, very good. And it talks about the layers of the volcanic lava flows. And this layer here, A, is the lowest layer of the lava flows when it began. It says here that during the period of accumulation of the bedded rocks, there were at least 3 epochs of considerable volcanic activity. About half of the total thickness of the strata had been deposited when the first outburst took place. And this is the one that yielded the ashes and bombs at Meriden, and that's exactly where we are. Its lava flows spread many miles north and south, but gained only a moderate measure of thickness, generally not more than 100 feet. These correspond to the bed marked A in Figure 8. That's bed A. So we're down from the surface, and this is all upper sandstone, alluvial flows and glacial deposits and things like that. Now, if you come down here, this is the architecture of the faulting that happens right here in Preston Notch. And again, I'm going to show you some other videos that back this up and show you. But this talks about a volcanic area that is here and is no longer here and is worn down. And it's due to this faulting and then the glacial activity. I'll explain that in a second. But here's the model was therefore made in several parts, each of which could be tilted independently of its neighbors, as shown in Figure 10. This is called horst-graben faulting, and it brings up the lowest levels of the earth to the top, and this is what's called a rift valley. It's a separation zone. Separation, not collision. Separation zone when Pangea was formed. And a guy named Bell is cited in a paper written in Yale, if you look it up, about the geology of Connecticut and the Rift Valley and the faulting, the horst-graben faulting, and he claims that this is a doorway into the earth. Is right in this exact. All right, this is the location that we're talking about. What happened was this whole area here, this yellowish looking area here, was dug deep by a glacier. Originally, I believe the crater was right here, and this is Black Pond right here, and it's very, very, very steep, these slopes, and this digs down deep, and they slope around, and this became an enormous lake, went all the way back up to New Hampshire, a couple states up, and it created a dam right here, right at, consider this to be a volcano, a round volcano right here. Glacier comes down, it bumps up against this cone. It pushes, it stretches this down. It creates this big, big gouge, and eventually this broke, and it's called Preston Notch. And that is right in this exact spot. There's a very, very deep gouge here, and that water ran out of here and ran right down into New Haven. And that is different than all the rest of the Connecticut River Valley runs this way, on the other side of this ridge. So that's the location I'm talking about, and I'm going to show you the actual shots. Okay, this is a video about Preston Notch done by Rex Wren, and I'm going to use a little of his video. He said that was fine. Now, here's what happens. I'm going to play it forward. To this side over here is the crater comes this way, and Black Pond was over there. Now, if we come around here, it's very, very steep. You can see it drops off, and this was the plane that the glacial flood created. And as we come back this way, this direction right up here, this is the outside edge of the crater. It came all the way around this whole direction, all the way around. And this is where it broke, right up here, right in between here. I'm going to put this on hold 1 second. Now, if you see this over here, this is a quarry. It's a rock quarry. And there's big cuts in here. And in the video that I'm going to show, it's in the winter time, showing the same shot looking out one side of my house. I'm going to, the plane that I'll be looking out of is, I'm right over here. and I'll be looking out this edge, and you'll see steps in this quarry, and then I'll look this way, and you'll see this huge basalt cliff, and it runs all the way down on this side and all the way up on this side, and that's where it broke through. And then it's like flat all the way across here, and then it plunges deeply down, and that's called Preston Notch. Well, the whole thing I think is called Preston Notch, but I'm on Preston Avenue, and I'm on the precipice of Preston Avenue, and it drops precipitously down into a deep gouge, and that cut comes right through here and drained down into Wallingford, down into New Haven. And it's a really scenic looking spot here, and this whole thing here runs all the way up 5 miles or so north on a very steep, completely steep drop. And that's the architecture that's brought this, the geology that's made this happen. Right out the front here, and if you drop, it goes deeply down to where the glacial lake was formed, and this was it was blockaded off right here, and it eventually broke right there and created Preston Notch. If you follow it to the left, it goes very deep. Whoops. Okay, down in here. Now, if you look up there on the left, you're going to see those steep. This is where the trap rock is, and that's where they quarry the rock. And this cut that goes down behind, this is, for me, it drops down, I don't know, a couple hundred feet, and goes way down into a gully that runs all the way down, and that's where all of this stuff ran through, and the mud is collected in this whole hook area here.